Welcome to 1 Million Cups Kansas City. The mission of 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection for all types of new and aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the United States. 1 Million Cup communities gather across the country every Wednesday to share presentations and make authentic connections. 1 Million Cup events are free, open to the public, and always have coffee.
Good morning. Good morning. I like teacher DaMar. So I'm DaMar Janssen, and my company is by Designed Living. And I'm originally from Iowa. My family and I used to live here. We raised our 3 daughters here up until about 2010. We moved away to St. Louis, and we just moved back in the 24 because we kicked all the kids out of the house. So I've gone through many iterations. I think some of you were here a couple of weeks ago. I said, I'm 60. So this is phase 3 of life for me. I've done a little bit of everything. I was a mortgage originator and small business, small commercial mortgage lending. I've done real estate. I've done interior design. And so I was trying to find a way to blend all of that. And this was birthed out of a passion and actually a request from a couple of real estate investors here in Kansas City who were trying to find better ways to assess the properties that they were looking at getting loans on. And they found out that, oh, she likes to stage properties. So can you help me find finishes? Can you help me do comparables so I can have a stronger package? So it started like that. And when we moved to St. Louis, again, a mother with 3 kids, I had to be the one to stay home. So I tried to figure out a way, okay, how can I take this, parlay that into a business for myself and find a way to do what I want to do when the kids are out of the house. So that's how Design Living LLC was born. I partner with local and remote investors and homeowners, property owners, trying to bring their properties to market faster, efficiently, and on budget, and on time. And the biggest roadblock for a real estate investor with vacant properties is, especially if they're remote, they're trying to either fly back, get the properties done, and then bring them to market. And this is just taking their lead times out further and further. Their carrying costs are accumulating. So they're trying to figure out, how am I going to get this done? And I have realtors coming to me saying, I have a real estate investor and they have like 6 units on the market and they're all sitting there vacant. They've been vacant for over 6 months. So it began by referral. So pick up 1 or 2, do a good job for them, bring the properties to market, give them back the keys. And they say, okay, can you help me with the next tranche? So that's how this began. Like I said, the mission is simple, just to be a partner, a trusted partner. And like I said, with a lot of remote investors that I was dealing with, especially in the St. Louis market, they needed someone they could trust. And so sometimes that meant just staging the property. Sometimes it meant taking over as a project manager, dealing with subcontractors that were coming in, trying to finish bringing the properties actually to completion to get an occupancy permit and everything to bring it to market. So I had to learn by trial by fire, pretty much. I've done over 30 projects between Kansas City and St. Louis. And so now I'm here trying to figure out how to start this all over again. Finding skilled and reputable subcontractors is my biggest hurdle. It's my biggest strength. And when I find the good ones, that's great. But now, like I said, I'm starting all over again. So that is what I'm trying to reestablish. Finding those connections, making those connections here, finding and building relationships with trade schools, and I did it before by working with TaskRabbit and Thumbtack, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. I had to learn by essentially trial by fire how to vet properly, finding those trusted subcontractors that are actually not just talented, but trustworthy and will actually partner with you. I don't employ them. I do generally by, subcontracting or 1099. So what was it saying? What happened is that I have learned how to scale up, and when that's possible to do, I do it with trusted partners. And like I said, again, my thing is having to reestablish once I've moved back here, and it's been a little difficult. Kansas City has changed a lot since we moved away. So like I said, it showed here that I lost control of a couple of projects because of subcontractors. Either they're not showing up on time or they literally would undercut me. And just, I think everybody has that, that pain point that you experienced in business where you're trying to make yourself established, you're trying to build a relationship. And if you're working with the wrong partners and you lose control of that narrative, it can make or break your project. It says here, how does a newcomer find, oh, what does it say here? Oh, this is what I'm asking for. I don't know how to find them. I don't know how to find the contractors. So that's what I need help with. This is how you find me. I just literally launched my website again about a week ago, and I'm always available if you have any issue, any questions, or if you have any ideas. You can text me. I'm always looking at my phone because I just launched my website and I'm reestablishing my Instagram. So this is me.
Okay, questions, and we have 2 microphones. If you could hold off speaking until we have a microphone with you, because we're recording this, so we want to make sure we capture your questions. So who has a question? We have 2 microphones, so one is sitting here now. I need this. We get this one. So.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah. So you have to lean into that mic. So who has a question? All right there. You had it over there. This man in the black shirt. After him.
What is your vetting process when you're talking to a subcontractor? And I have several of mine for you, by the way.
No. I'm wanting to know if they have, I know this sounds ridiculous, have your own transportation. You'd be surprised how many subcontractors approach me or they're referred to me and they have the skill set, they have their own tools, they don't have their own transportation. And when I am talking with a client, I said, okay, they're going to be on site at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm getting texts from the subcontractor asking, can you call so-and-so and come pick me up? Or can you come and pick me up? Not only is that unprofessional, but it's also leaving me literally with, trying to double back and find someone else. So you'd be surprised, but not just the skill set, their own tools, their willingness to collaborate and honestly run things through me. So even if they're on site, I'm needing to know that you're going to be trustworthy, that you're communicative, that you respond to me. So it's not a lot. It's really not a lot. Thank you, though.
Number one, whatever you're doing to look that good at 60, follow it. Secondly, one of the things that I do in my business as part of my referral process is that the only way that I can vet a person is to have somebody else tell me about the work that they've done. And so I have a process where they have to find a client that they work with within the last 60 days, and that client has to email me directly. Okay. They're not able to forward the email. They have to email me directly. And then I kind of meet with them. If I kind of look and it's a gray area on the referral that they're sending, I meet with that person on Zoom. I have a 30-minute conversation with them. Because in a conversation, you can read faces. And so you can't really necessarily read that through an email. And so if the email says they were great, but I was like, they were great. And I'm like, And so I would suggest, or have you thought about a process like that where you can have somebody else who's seen their work firsthand? Because especially in construction, you would hate to get everything finished and then walk in like, what in the world is this? And they have the skill set, the tools, the cars, the transportation, all of that, but the work does not prove itself. So have you thought about a process like that?
And that's a great question. And that's honestly why I was relying upon TaskRabbit and Thumbtack, because they have their own vetting process. I had started off marketing myself on Thumbtack. So I know that they go through a very similar process where you submit like 3 or 4 projects that you've done, and then you have to have those email addresses forwarded to Thumbtack, and Thumbtack reaches out to them and asks that referral for the actual proof of whatever you did. And then once that's vetted, then they put that on your profile. So I'm
teetering between, do I go back to that route or do I do that myself? But yes, that's why I was referring and relying so heavily upon those services because they're kind of like that second or third party vetting system. So I'm trying to figure out how to bridge that gap. But that's very good information though. Thank you. Morning.
Hello, DaMar.
Hi.
I'm older than you are, just so you know. And I actually look it.
That's good.
Hey, I'm really impressed and welcome back to Kansas City. I'm really impressed with what you're putting together. And I see the challenge. I've worked a little bit in that area of the business and with contractors and especially now with the demand in the market, very competitive market. I would imagine that's will be a challenge, but not something you can't overcome. And my question was really, as you establish a network, would you consider working with felons, former felons?
Like a reentry program?
Yeah, one that is credentialed, I would say.
Mhm.
I've spent the last 15 years doing volunteer work at Lansing and have got to know a lot of good men. I've got to know a few knuckleheads along the way as
Mhm.
well, but a lot of good men who come out and are hungry and have high character and have a very difficult time getting traction with employment and in market. I mean, obviously you have to vet this and you have to prove them in, but we've had some tremendous success stories in the area. And I just think that maybe that's something I would just want you to entertain or think about.
And thank you for saying that. It's amazing when you're in a group of people because sometimes someone will say something that someone else had told you just a few months ago and you totally spaced it off. My daughter recommended 12th Street Heritage Foundation because they have a reentry program and I totally forgot about it. And yes, I would. And I actually used a few of their guys to do a couple of landscaping jobs last fall. So yes, I would entertain that. I would probably, again, like I was talking with her, rely upon a second or third party management tool for that because they're going to do the vetting. They're responsible for their day-to-day benchmarks or whatever they have to meet in order so that they're getting paid. So but I would entertain that. Thank you. That's a good idea. Yes.
Hey, DaMar.
Good morning.
My name's Luke, and I posted a excerpt about you and your business just now on LinkedIn. So, and I did it.
Wow, thank you.
So maybe something will happen there. I can speak highly to the importance of what this gentleman just spoke about, a reentry program. I ran a felon reentry program in San Francisco where we delivered 25,000 magazines in 4 days to the different hills of San Francisco for a private magazine operation. And we were utilizing felons. And I had to pick them up every morning for 5 days a week, for like 2 years. And I got to know a lot of them very well. So that's a great idea. The other idea I have for you is if you go to, I know you're using TaskRabbit, but a platform like InstaWork, you can find experts and be very detailed in who you're looking for. Now, they might upcharge you on the fee. You might be looking at, I don't know what you pay, but that has a lot to do with it, hourly or per project. But I think you can find some really good people on InstaWork. I have found really good people, trustworthy, hardworking, and most of Kansas City's sports complexes utilize InstaWork or something very similar to it. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
DaMar.
Yes. Good morning.
Hi, my name is Neil, and I'm a former landowner. I've rented out houses before, so I've had a lot of experience with hiring contractors and the pain that is. But I have a referral for you. She's a former 1 Million Cups presenter here, and she has a business called Remodel Relief. Remodel Relief is a home maintenance management platform for organizations that provide housing for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, seniors, and physically disabled adults, group home operators, residential property managers, bed and breakfast, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, she might be somebody you could talk to.
We'll connect. Thank you.
Hi. Just a question slash suggestion, being that you're working with 1099 employees, have you considered partnering with other businesses that use 1099 labor who might be able to refer somebody? So I'm thinking of, like, I used to work for Citywide, which is a facility maintenance company. So they handle everything from like the roof to the curb, and including remodeling.
Okay,
And a struggle that we had there was that you don't want to be 100% of a contractor's business. They need to have at least 30% of their own business.
okay,
So maybe partnering with an organization or other businesses that already vet and are using contractors. So that way you guys are making sure they don't become actual employees.
and that's exactly the connections I'm looking to make. So yeah, that's a very good idea. Thank you.
I don't know what other kind of networking you're doing, but there's a couple of areas you could look. One is called CCC, it's Contractors, Closers, and Connectors.
Okay.
And that's for fairly large types of industrial types of buildings and things of that nature, maybe strip malls. But the other side is the multifamily space. So there's also his name's Alex Olson. He started this. It's out of Overland Park, and it's at Strain Hall, I think once a month, every Thursday. But it's called the Multifamily Meetup. And so you can go there. There's a lot of brokers that walk in the door there. So just, things like that you could look at to maybe help you out.
Thank you. Thank you.
DaMar, this is just something to note. There's a program, it's called Youth Build. It's through Cornerstones of Care. Theo Bunch is the gentleman that runs it, and he teaches a lot of youth that are aging out of foster care, have been impacted by foster care, how to do like building and contracting and all that. So that might be a good connection, because my assumption is that they also would provide those supportive services to be able to like get people back and forth.
That's a really good idea.
And they build it up. So,
Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
awesome. Thank you.
Hi, DaMar.
Morning. Hi.
I'm just sharing names of a couple of organizations.
Okay.
There's an Association of General Contractors organization, and they have a Kansas chapter called AJC Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
But they actually partner with an organization called Build Up Kansas, who are working with trying to get more traction from like high school students, and building excitement about skilled trades and getting people into the workforce. But they just had a huge conference where everybody was connected, industry leaders, contractors, students. But Build Up Kansas is part
Build
of
Up Kansas.
it.
Okay.
I'll send you info.
Cool. Thank you.
Hey, DaMar.
Good morning.
Good morning. I came late, so I heard the last piece where you were talking about contractors needing transportation. And I know of an organization which just addresses that issue for everybody. And I will put you in touch with the person that I know from that organization.
Okay.
Because they have identified that as a niche service area or market. And they realize that by just solving that one problem, a lot of problems, they don't do it just for contracts, for anybody who needs transportation, be it healthcare, for healthcare reasons, social care needs, and that kind of stuff. So I would like to get in touch with you and introduce you to them and see if that helps or fits into your model.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Didn't know that existed. Thank you.
Good morning, DaMar.
Good morning.
My name's Neil Campbell, and I've had some dealings with some organizations around town, and there's one called the Builders Association.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with them, and they have a trade school. The former president of Don Greenwood, you might want to reach out to them. They have a really active trade school with all the trades, and they're right downtown in a couple of Builders Associations.
Okay.
Reach out to them.
Awesome. Thank you. Is that it?
Any other questions?
Okay.
Okay, so, what can we as a community do to help you?
Exactly what you just did. No, this is awesome. This is my second time here. And I think this is probably the most supportive and collaborative networking that I've been involved with throughout my entire career. So this is awesome.
And give a big hand for yourselves. Too, 'cause you're really
Yeah.
pretty good, but okay, thank you very much. And to, oh my, Chris is, oh, there we go. Next person, we got Izzie Robinson. You can use it. Yeah.
This way.
Yeah, so if you can just come through.
Okay. Okay, so I thought I was the problem. I thought I was undisciplined. I thought I was lazy. I thought I was weak, and I thought I just needed to get my together. And I was trying hard. Like, I'm a type A girly, color coordinated schedule, AI schedulers. Like, if there is a productivity hack out there, I've probably used it. So there were these weeks that I would be like, I've got it together. I am her. I am doing it. And then I would crash. And this wasn't any cute crash. This was, I've crashed into a cement wall. I am now burnt out. I am exhausted. I'm just trying to keep going. And that is when I realized that this was a pattern. This was cyclical. That maybe actually I wasn't the problem. It was my systems. So men, you are mainly governed by the circadian rhythm. It's a 24-hour hormone cycle that resets every morning with adequate sleep. But as women, we have a circadian rhythm, but we also have a second biological clock. It's an infradian rhythm that lasts roughly a month, give or take a couple of days, a couple of weeks. It really just depends. And during this cycle, we have a rising energy and we have a falling energy. Cognition shifts, energy obviously shifts. Even the way we see the world, whether we're looking more at our outward world or inward world, changes throughout our cycle. And we live in these systems that are really demanding a daily consistency and constant output. And that can cause a misalignment. Now, when we compound that with the fact that 1 in 10 women are diagnosed with endometriosis, 1 in 10 women are diagnosed with PCOS, and that's diagnosed, not experiencing, that's just diagnosed. 80% of women will experience fibroids at some point during their menstrual years. And ADHD in women is massively undiagnosed. And ADHD, especially when it is undetected, can really exacerbate the negative symptoms of the menstrual cycle, namely PMS, or it's also highly correlated with PMDD. Yet we are expected to show up the same way every day. And I have what I like to call the trifecta. I have ADHD, PCOS, and endometriosis. It's a lot of fun, so much fun. And essentially I was getting brought to my knees every cycle, just in extreme pain, cramps, vomiting, a lot of TMI stuff I could go into, but I'll spare you the details. And it was meaning that I just couldn't keep up with my life. So I had to learn how to work with my body instead of against it, which is how Pink Blazer was born. So Pink Blazer is a women's productivity and educational company based in cyclical living. So we exist to teach women about their cycles, how to work with their energy, and how to build systems that support their biology. So our current offer suite, we have our 3 founding memberships. We have the GIST Club, which is lovingly meaning the Get Your Shit Together Club. It is an online community where we offer body doubling services and cyclical education to get you started and start understanding your body. Then we have the GIST KC, so it's all of that, plus our in-person community, our in-work person co-working sessions, especially with ADHD, that body doubling, that having someone there for accountability, it really like 2 times, 10 times is your productivity. It's kind of crazy. Then we have the Pink Blazer Society. So this is for the women who are ready to go a little bit deeper. They're ready to wake up every day and say, what day is it? Where am I in my cycle, and how can I support my cycle and my hormones today? So in that, we offer group coaching, one-on-one coaching, and our accelerator, seat in our accelerator. So our Hustle Like a Woman Accelerator is a 12-week program where we teach women how to track their cycle, know about their energy, and then use 1% shifts to start supporting
that cycle. Nothing crazy. We're not trying to overhaul your life. We're just trying to support it. And then we also have planners, half-day workshops that we design for businesses and nonprofits. With our future goals of being in-person co-working space with a cyclical cafe, so a cafe that you can order food days to actually support your hormones, and a digital cyclical productivity suite, which we're working on the tech solution for right now. So our problem does not seem to be resignation. When I meet women, I talk to women like I've had in this presentation, I see a lot of nodding. Yep. I get a lot of, oh, I need this. And the issue seems to be from them saying that to the conversion point. Like, how do we actually get you into this? And there's a few reasons we think this might be happening. From personal experience, I learned about cycle syncing or cycle awareness for about 5 years. About 2.5 years into it, that's when I started applying it, because it feels like another thing to do. And I think that comes from the cyclical literacy is low. Then we also, periods are still taboo. Like, talking about it, I do seem like a weirdo when I am chatting to everybody in the grocery store, wherever I am, like, what day is it? How's your period? Does it suck as much as mine used to? It's just the conversations we have. And then it also gets dismissed as wellness. I'm like, yes, this is wellness. This is about your well-being, but this is also about productivity. Like, we are losing a lot of time, especially those of us that have endometriosis, PCOS, fibroids, like all of these issues, they really take us down. And so we lose productivity at work, and it stops us from doing the things that we really want to be doing. And so what we've tried, so we've got our low-cost memberships, we've kept them low for accessibility, especially the online versions of these. In-person co-working in Kansas City, we're going to relaunch that in the spring. I took the winter off. And then we're trying free workshops before selling physical, digital products. And we go to pop-ups quite a lot. So I get a lot of like follows, and they follow the Instagram account, but getting that conversion has been a little bit harder. And then the things that we are seeing success, when women understand the science behind this, conversion does increase. And when they're able to experience a focus block, like if I can just get them there for one 45-minute session, they're like, oh, I get it now. So that's what we're working towards. So my question for the community is, what marketing avenues or collaboration strategies would you explore to help a company like Pink Blazers shorten the trust gap and reach the women who need this most? And then how would you position it so it's clearly understood as performance work and not just wellness? Oh, thank you.
Okay, questions. Go ahead.
Oh, wow.
I really loved your presentation. That was great.
Thank you.
I have a few online resources for you. There's a gal named Mackenzie Heflin. She is the storytelling queen. She teaches marketing and social media through telling your story.
Yes.
And it's kind of, we call it story selling. Like, she's so good at it and it's very natural. So I would definitely check her out. She's got a membership, she's got programs, she's got all kinds of things. And then another gal that I have worked with pretty closely online, her name is Abigail Pugh, and she has this community, it's called Rich Girl Community, and every week she gives social media prompts that are very easy to like turn around and use for any industry, and they're so easy to follow.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of success in her community with that sort of thing, but I think just really connecting with people and like, how are you going to feel once you've achieved X, Y, and Z, and kind of doing that through storytelling is going to be really, really helpful.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Hey, hi, Izzy. We met like a couple of months ago, and I was actually thinking, do you have anyone that would be willing to, it's not, guinea pig is the wrong word, but kind of dovetailing off of what she said, if you had someone that could help tell the story that's actually going through the process, and you have some documenting of where they started, baseline, where they're at now, 3 months in, and then an update. Do you have a way to bring on a couple of volunteers? I would be more than willing.
To come on? Yeah. I'd love to have a couple come on and just go through the process and be able to get those testimonials in, because I know it works. So be able to, then tell that story. I love that suggestion. Yeah.
Hi, Izzie. First of all, I love your branding. It's
adorable.
Thanks.
Second, I know a girl who does silent retreats. And I can see, her name's Brittany, and I can connect you with her, and I could just see, you know, finding some other people that are, you know, doing these group things that are adjacent to you. I could see how that would fit really beautifully.
Yeah.
So I will connect with you and send you her information.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that.
Hi, so I own a postpartum business. And so one of the biggest things that I run into is getting my moms to believe that their lives can be normal again.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons being is for this reason. Their bodies are so out of sync from what they know to be normal, especially those of us like myself who have 3 kids under the age of 6. And so my question was, do you have anything set up? Like, for instance, if I wanted to bring you in and provide classes for, I've been wanting to have period parties for my moms after they have babies. But I don't want it to just be here's some confetti. I want it to be education. One of the things that I always quote is that blood work is the birth work. And so I'm really, really heavy on, like, when you go to that 6-week appointment, make them check off all these things in your blood so I can make sure that your blood is in alignment for your cycle.
Yes.
And so do you have anything set up where if I myself wanted to provide space for my clients, I see about 40 clients a month, where I wanted to provide space for my clients to be able to, because my goal is between that 0 to 12-month marker, by 12 months, you have some type of normalcy that is good for your life. But this is the missing piece.
Yeah.
The buy-in of, like, no, it's your cycle, sis.
It's
I'm
your
trying to
cycle.
tell you.
What day is it? Yeah.
So do you have anything in place like that? Like, if I wanted to bring you on to be able to provide some services?
I
for my
sure do.
clients?
I would love to. Love to collaborate with you. Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Hello, wonderful job on your performance.
Thank you.
So we talked last Wednesday, and I think I have a thing for you I'd like to discuss after this. But I'd also like to just give you a platform. I'm a woman-owned company, and we have a blog. So if you'd be willing to be consistent and write, I'd love to have that on our blog.
I would love to. Yeah.
I'd also like to get you into this networking group called Sip and Strategize. It's a Kathy Coates thing that predominantly we're all women that show up on a Sunday to enjoy a glass of wine, have relaxed networking, and really, you know, rally around each other and how we can help with their businesses. So I think that also would be a really great place to see you.
I would love to. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I have become somewhat of an expert on ADHD. My wife, I never know what I'm walking into. Cleaning closet one day, kind of half done. Next day, we're doing some art.
Yeah.
Laundry, we kind of do it together. I don't know what's going on half the time.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, and I'm annoyingly creative. So you kind of lean into ADHD a little bit.
Yes.
You're kind of going into the mental health realm a little bit. Have you thought about partnering with some groups, some expos? I think it could be a perfect platform to get you more exposure.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I've talked to a few like mental health practitioners, but I haven't like solidified anything with them. So being able to get into those rooms and be with them, I think could really help any therapists specifically who are helping those with ADHD. This can be like a good support or benefit for them. Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Tracy. I met you last week. I was just gonna piggyback off of that. I was thinking also like OBGYNs. I am a therapist, so if you want to come to I do have some access to some different networking through like with therapists.
Yeah.
And I can think of a lot of the perinatal, postnatal like therapists that specialize in that would love to hear this. I think other ideas that I've kind of come up with are like things that connect with like the girls, like Girl Scouts. I don't know if you've collaborated or thought about like stuff like that. And then also I have a friend, I think she's the one that does the Urban Hikes KC. And I just was thinking like, I know you've done a lot of, I think, walking or different things like that and talking about your cycle. That might be a cool pairing too of like some of the other local businesses that do things that you're integrating with like the women on a regular basis. And also, again, I'm just really excited for you. And I'm glad that you're talking about this, making it less taboo.
Thank you. I love that. Yeah. As far as the menarche, I do have a menarche workshop, and we tested it with a small group of girls at Northeast Middle School.
they were like, it was so receptive. It's been the most receptive group I've like spoken to. And obviously, if we can start this education like right when they are experiencing menarche, we're setting them up for success. So any rooms I can get into, any teenagers that I can come talk to, especially if they're just going through menarche, I'd love to be there. I'd love to support them through that journey. Yeah.
I love that. I just want to say it would be great to normalize that conversation before it happens.
Before it happens, yeah.
That.
Yeah. Give them the full picture, not just you're gonna bleed, but like there's actually there's 4 phases. You need to know about all of them. Yeah.
I love this so much. Sorry, my voice is a little bit shot. So we chatted last week. I'm going to be presenting in a couple weeks here. I run a nonprofit for entrepreneurs with chronic illness and disability. The overlap is just astonishing, right? Like women's health, things being tested only on men. When women show up, the gaslighting that happens, you know, is worse if you're not white, you know, all of these issues, right?
Yep.
It's so incredibly important. And I love, love, love. I just want to say that I love that you said you don't want this to be seen as only wellness, right? Because I think we all have experienced the like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, my 13-year-old was in the hospital recently, and the male ER doctor literally said, I think it's just cramps, honey. She's 13.
Yeah.
It ended up being not just cramps, just for the record. And I just want to say, first of all, this is amazing. Second of all, your community is our community. And I did not make this connection last week when we were chatting. I know we talked a little bit, right? But same thing, we have a blog, etc. We want to chat more. And I just want to say for everyone here, I mean, I know it's so taboo to talk about these things, right? But our teenage daughters are dealing with things that their male peers have no idea about, right? I have a son who's 15. I have a daughter who's 13. I'm seeing it happen. So the power of women to tap into this, like, I just want to say the work that you're doing is so incredibly important. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Kristen. I've already messaged you. I'm a storyteller. I'll be your paying guinea pig. I would love to register and I've been overwhelmed by all the suggestions, and I would also like to offer to host like a collaborative, I just think if we got everybody together, it'd be more efficient.
I love that.
I like yes to all the different things I've heard. I'm a dissatisfied nurse as well. That's why I'm here, trying to move out of, I became a nurse to like help people, and that's becoming increasingly rare in my on the clock work. And so, yes, and I would like to host. And so if you're interested, please message her Pink Blazer, and maybe that's a way we could get everybody together.
I would love that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I would love that. Thank you.
I had a request to go back to your first slide.
Oh, yes.
So they really like that. So there it is. Yeah, one more. And I think you're a graphics designer as well. Is that your?
Yeah, I do marketing strategy and web design. Yeah, it's my other business. That's what pays the bills right now. So if you need services there, please reach out. I'd love to help you. Love to.
It's like you're in jail or something.
Yeah, I wanted you to feel like the problem was written on my forehead.
We'll flip back to the other direction so we can make sure we can get her contact information. We have another question over here.
One back.
Okay. So I'm not your customer, but I'm married to one.
You're not my customer yet.
Right. I was going to ask if you've talked to companies about pre-selling a certain number of subscriptions as part of their benefits to their employees.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a really good way to get into the market. And one of the things you could do is you talk to insurance brokers who then help them buy their annual insurance plans, and then they could offer you alongside, and you're not very expensive. So I think a lot of employers would. I don't currently have any W-2 employees, but in a past life, I would have been very happy to offer this as a.
That's fantastic. Yeah, if anyone knows the steps to go through that, I've thought about it, don't know how to do it. So insurance broker, noted. And yeah, I would love to get on that train. Yeah.
More questions?
One thing, so I am a member of
Yes, you
Blazer also, who's still in that contemplation stage. And I just want to also bring attention to things that we talked about before, like folks that have gone past the point of having their period
Yes.
And like how much they can bring to the page too.
Yeah.
And how much like being able to teach younger generations that collaborative, because there's a lot of us that don't have grandparents or don't have that support.
Yes.
And so for all the people that are coming together for this, like just wanted to put that note out there too.
Elisa, thank you so much for mentioning that. Yeah, I want to be really clear that this isn't just for like menstruating women. This is if you are what we call wise women, you're past menopause, you have so much knowledge. And I know the world likes to discard you because you're no longer producing children or don't have that. But we need to rewrite that. We need to put our elders back in their rightful spaces and be able to learn from them. So if you are yes, if you're post-menopause, please come be in the room. Please come teach us. Please come tell us the stories. Like, I know you've been through horrific things. I have women come and talk to me all the time about the hysterectomies they were forced to have, the partial hysterectomies they were forced to have, when they've taken their uterus for reasons that they didn't need to. So please come tell your stories. Please come tell us what you've been suffering through. It's no longer suffering in silence, and let us learn from you and teach the next generation. Yeah.
So one of my observations when you started was that you had convinced yourself you were the problem, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's very common. And I think part of that, you breeze through it very quickly, is that we function in a world mostly controlled by men, right? So I don't want to dilute your efforts, but have you thought about communicating with men?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we'd love to.
I'll just leave it at that because there's a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, no, that's why I said you're not my client yet. I would love to be able to, if my strategy here is let's teach the women, give them a common language that we can have for ourselves and kind of understand. And then let's bring the men in the room, and especially partnerships, right? Like bring you in the room and say, all right, let's teach you now. And then here's a common language that now we can use so that you're not confused about what you're walking into, but you know that ADHD symptom is correlating with the phase of the cycle. And so, oh, you're in your luteal phase. That's why you're cleaning absolutely everything, because you're about to go rest. And so, yeah, there's like, it is pattern. Women we work like clockwork when it's working. So we'd love to teach you. Love to. Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate that. As you were talking, something came to my mind. You know, we grew up with this old statement when people say silent is golden, but it's not, because that is also what created all this ADHD and all of that, because people think, especially when it comes to cycle, you know, it's so secret and people feel shame with it when it shouldn't be. Yeah. You know, so I just appreciate what you're doing, because I think that will create more openness, which will create more healing and less problems.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. I will bring more people into this. And yes, I'm one of those old golden people.
Wise women, share. We need you, wise women. Please come on. Yeah.
Great job, Izzy. Your graphics, you're to the point. And what I would like to point out to everyone in this room is there are 32 women here today. There are 15 men. And what just happened is what happens when women come together. We are naturally horizontal when we reach out to people, right? We don't care about hierarchy. We don't care about structure. We just want to help each other. And what you're creating will just make that stronger. And so thank you for doing this, because those of us who are in the wise women phase still have so much to learn and so much, right? Like we can be out there pulling people into what you're doing, but also it helps us look back and go, oh, 30 years of losing it every month, right? Like making progress, falling behind. So all the women in this room, thank you for what you've shared. Thank you for being here today. And let's take this somewhere, because this was just a tiny sample of what we could create if we choose to.
Thank you.
More questions?
Hi, I'm Elizabeth. And just as a potential person that might be interested in learning more and getting involved, I had a question or a stumbling point that I thought I would bring up is, can you work well with someone whose cycle is very irregular?
Yes, that's a great question. Fantastic question. Yeah, when I first started this, I was actually completely irregular. My cycle was like 66 days long. And I was stuck in the luteal phase for most of that. So it was miserable. And by learning to track your cycle, one, it will eventually highlight what's going on and help you get regular. But there are also other ways we can track and help you work with your body so that that can be restored, or you can just work alongside it. So yes, this works whether you have a current cycle or not.
Okay, great, good to know. And I just love to see that on like social media as like a potential hook for people to
Yeah.
get into it. I think that'd be
Thank you.
helpful.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I'll get that out there. Yeah, please.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for your presentation. I really wish I met you many years ago. Because when I went through all those things you talked about, my mom thought I was pregnant every month for 12 months every month. So the teenage girl, if I knew a little bit of this, it would have been so helpful. So just keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so one more question. You're welcome. One more question. What can we as a community do to help you?
Yeah, I mean, you've really done it. Thank you. You've pulled together. But I think, yeah, helping me get into those rooms, help me make those connections so that I can get in front of women and be able to start this guiding process would be great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very much appreciated. You know, today, I think we've had two presentations today that are just what One Million Cups is all about. We give both our presenters no, if you're interested in presenting, it isn't like you just show up one day and you do it. We actually have a whole process you go through, and we help you and support you and all that sort of thing. So there's cards around about presenting, and also you can scan that. But it's really great, really good experience. I think we do agree it's a good experience. Yeah, so that's good. And once again, we'd like to thank the Kauffman Foundation for their support of us. In addition to Dr. Emma, who's head of the program nationally, and Julie, who does technical support for the program nationally, I believe, and is here. And I think we have some other Kauffman Foundation people here. If you wouldn't be embarrassed, would you raise your hand? We'd like to find out who you are, maybe. You're saying about who you are and what you.
Hi, my name is Aurelia Woodson. I actually am in my first week here at but I also am a Pink Blazer member, and I currently work with the Stratcoms department.
Good morning. My name is Asia, like the continent, Campbell, like the soup, as I like to say. I am the employer development manager here at the Kauffman Foundation for ProX, which is our summer internship program that we run each year, and we provide paid internship opportunities for high school students across Kansas City Metro.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ross Jensby. With Aurelia, this is my first week at Kauffman Foundation. So I'm on the Stratcoms team, and I'm going to be working with the 1 Million Cups team to help do communications and tell stories. And so I was just here to observe today and take it all in. And this is my first 1 Million Cups. But I knew what to expect, and you guys blew my expectations out of the water. The amount of support in the room and the ideas and the creative ideas that people had. I have 7 story ideas to take into this session today. So thank you for being who you are.
Thank you very much. And please invite your friends to come next week. And if you all log in, we'll get a bigger room next time.